everyone, and welcome to our All About You. And on today's program, we will be speaking about something that bothers and intrigues many people. A little word that requires lots of effort and sacrifice. And that's why, though many people they even wish to achieve, they end up giving up along the way. The word is changes, right? Who has never tried to change something about themselves? Well, the reality is that it is much easier to even ignore. That's the truth. This is what many people do. And that's why I'm pretty sure you have come across people or even yourself saying like this. Well, I was born like this. This is who I am, and you either love me or hate for it. Have you ever heard this? Have you ever spoke this to anyone? Maybe even to yourself. Some people they say this to God. They say, God, I came to you like this, and I'm sorry. I'm I'm not gonna change. It's just hard. It's just too much. Normally people they give this excuse that this is who I am. I was born like this, in order for them not to face the reality of the needs they have to improve themselves. You see, this word, though it is hard, though it is many times misunderstood by many, they think it is an enemy. Changes are enemy, but actually they are not. They are not. Changes are there to make us grow. Changes are there to make us develop as a person, develop as a daughter, as a mother, as a child of God, as a human being. Let me ask you something. I'm pretty sure if you're watching me through a computer or your phone, your tablet. And let me ask you something. Doesn't your computer always needs to be upgraded, right? And if you don't, what happens? If you say, I don't wanna, it takes too long to update, I don't wanna make these updates. Every now and again, your computer pops up that annoying, notification, updates available. How many times you and me, I'm including myself in that, we say, oh, later, I'll update it later. Have you ever done that? Well, I have, and I'm pretty sure many people have. But we think like this. If I don't have time right now, this is gonna require a while, and I don't have the time to do it right now. I'd rather do something else. But then what happens if we insist every time the notification pops up and we insist to ignore it and say later? It will come to a point that your computer will not let you work, right? It has happened to me. It will stop you. You give it a command, it doesn't obey. It takes ages to do what you want. So at the end of the day, at the end, of everything, if I don't want to spend the time to do the update, I'm going to lose time of work because it's just gonna be stopping all the time. It's just going to be slow, and I'm not gonna do what I'm supposed to do. It's gonna take me a while, right? How about in your career? How many people? Let me ask you something. How about a doctor? Yeah, think with me. You've studied, you've sacrificed, you've spent there years reading and learning, and then you finally got your degree. And then let's say you open your own business, your medical, your clinic, and you are there. But from that moment on, you never invest in learning what is new. What's gonna happen? You're gonna be outdated. Because every day there is a new disease coming up. Every day there is a new technology coming up, a new discovery. And if you do not update, not even with medicine, right? Any type of profession. If you are a teacher, for example, if you don't learn new techniques, if you don't learn new ways, if you don't take the time, yes, it is a sacrifice. Yes, you have to invest time. But if you don't, what's gonna happen? You're gonna be left behind, right? You're gonna be left behind because you won't know what is going on. You won't know uh, what people are in need of at this moment because your mindset is no, I've learned it this way and it has to be this way. But things are changing every day. And if we are not willing to change, we are going to be left behind. How many people lose relationships, right? They lose, let's talk about love life. How many people they lose um, partners just because they say, no, I am like this, and if you don't like me, fine. But let me ask you something. What does this type of mentality brings to you? Are you happy? Are you happy with the outcome of this way of thinking? Are you happy? Or are you lonely? Or are you frustrated with yourself? If the answer is, and if you are honest with yourself, if you're honest with yourself, you will admit that you're not happy. How can someone be happy if they are always um, losing a friend, always losing a partner, always losing a job, always losing a work that they started in the computer because they didn't want to take the time to make the update, or because they didn't want to make the time to hear the partner and to invest. It's changing doesn't mean you are losing yourself. It means you are improving yourself. And this is why many people get it wrong. They think that if I change, I'm losing myself. I'm losing my identity. No, you're not. You're not losing anything. You're improving it. How cool is that? How nice is that? Right? If you just see this little word with a new mentality, with a new way, you will see that it's not an enemy. On the opposite, it is a friend. But of course, it is not easy, as I said in the beginning, and that's why many people they even start, but they give up along the way. You know, I have been stuck in a way that I thought, oh, this is who I am. I have been there. I know how it feels, but I also know that if you put the effort, if you make a decision that, okay, I am gonna work on myself, I'm gonna face it. I'm gonna first of all, I need to be humble, to admit, to acknowledge that this way of thinking, that this way of behaving, right? Perhaps you are someone that you are rude, but you don't mean it. You are rude to whoever is around you. You are rude to your friends, you're rude to your partner, but in order to avoid looking to yourself and putting in the effort to change, you put on this facade, this defense mechanism of thinking that this is who I am. But it's not true. It's not true. Do you agree with me that God created you? Do you agree with me? God created us all. And if you say that something that is not good, if you say that a bad behavior, that a bad decision that you keep on taking, it was God who made you this way, so then you are blaming God, right? You're blaming God. You're saying that He made you this way, which is not true. We all know that God didn't make anything imperfect. Everything that He did was good, was perfect. But what happened is along the way, with life, we experience things that hurts us, that brings traumas to us. And normally, when, for example, let me talk about myself. Um, Even after giving my life to God, even after being baptized and receiving the Holy Spirit, I still had insecurities. I still had, I would put on this, what is the word? Defensive mechanism that every time I was hurt, I would put on a long face and pretend that nothing happened. If you would hurt me, let me even talk about after getting married, in the first years of marriage. We are learning, it's two different people coming together, and I didn't know much about my husband, and I didn't even know much about myself. And there were things that he would do that would upset me. Not that he was doing something wrong, but we have different personality. And I would put on, I remember many times I don't have the type of personality that would agree, that would fight, that would scream. Some people, they have this in them, they behave this way. But to me it would be like, well, you you did something that I don't like, so I'm gonna show you that I didn't like by not talking to you. So I would give the silence treatment, the long face. And I would stay hours, sometimes even days, just speaking the necessary. Hi, good morning. Can you imagine how hard this is? Living to someone this way. But we normally don't put our shoes on the other person's, right? We only think about ourselves. This is one bad thing about, one negative point about humans, because we have the tendency to be selfish. We only look about our pain. We only look at our needs. So I was like that as well. However, I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy at all. I was giving him the silence treatment. I was making a long face, and what was I gaining out of it? Nothing. Nothing. In my mind it would be like, let me show him that I didn't like, so that he's not gonna do it again. But it never worked this way. So at the end of the day, I was the one hurting. At the end of the day, I was the one unhappy. And only later on I understood that this came from a trauma from my childhood, because my father had left me, my father had left my mother and my brothers when I was very young, and I felt neglected, I felt unloved. So every time someone, and especially my husband, would behave in a way that would make me feel, unappreciated, then those, though I never understood, you know, I never understood it this way, but my behavior, that defensive mechanism, no, I'm gonna guard myself, I'm gonna protect myself, came from my past. So as I was speaking before, the everything that is negative about us was not placed there by God. We were not born like this. No, it came along with the problems that we faced in life. So if you were not born like this, who said you have to continue this way? And then I remember there was a day that I made a decision. I said, wait a moment. I thought, I reasoned. I said, okay, I have been behaving this way and I'm not happy. I have to do something about it. And I decided to change. It was a choice. It was a choice. And I remember as if it was today. It's been many years, but I remember as if it was today. I made a decision that I am not going to allow anything or anyone take my happiness away. Even if I don't like something, I will choose to be happy. It was my choice. It was about me. I wanted to be happy. And I could not put my happiness in someone else's hand, right? So I made that decision, and my husband was surprised at the beginning. He was shocked. He was like, "Are you not gonna be upset?" I remember there was a day I asked him something, and he said, I'm sorry, I can't give you this now. And then I said, fine, no worries. Next time, whenever you can. And he looked at me surprised, saying, are you not going to be upset? Are you not going to give me a long face? And I said, no, that Flavia is gone. I decided to be new from today on. And it was the best choice I've made. honestly, it was the best choice I've made to change that about me. So if you are still, going through this, or it can be any other. With me was the long face. It was, I'm gonna show that I didn't like, but it can be anything. If there's something about you that makes you unhappy, that brings problems between you and someone else, I ask you, is it really worth it to continue with this pride? Sorry to say it, but it is a pride. What is this bringing to you? Are you happy? If you are, then carry on like this. If you are, then forget about everything that I'm saying here. But if you are not, you can make a decision to change. You can make a decision to be a better person. Don't, if there's one thing that I would like you to remember through this video, is that changes are not our enemies. On the contrary, it's our friend. Changes means growth, means bettering ourselves. It doesn't mean losing your identity. It doesn't mean showing, pretending to be someone you're not. It means that you value yourself and that you want to improve yourself. You're not gonna get lost if you apply changes. You're gonna get better. You're gonna get better. And the good thing is, once you understand this, it's exciting. Then changes no longer becomes burdensome, no longer becomes scary to you. It becomes exciting to you. And every day you're going to be treasure hunting for something to change, because you have this mentality that if I change, I am bettering myself. If you don't change, if I don't change, I'm not growing. You see that even the year changed, right? We are now at the end of 2018. Even the year is going to change, the calendar changed, everything changed. The months change, the year changes, the computer changes. Everything changes, so why should we stay the same? Why should we hold on to this pride that I'm not gonna lose myself. I'm not gonna change for anyone. How many people, they want to invest in their relationship with God, but they are stuck. They are stuck because they don't want to change. They are stuck because they don't want to sacrifice. They don't want to say no, to this thing that though might give them temporary joy, but they know at the end of the day, they can't sleep at night because they keep thinking, why did I do this? Why can't why can't I just change? Why can't I just overcome this? You see, we human beings, we were created by God, as I said. And when we don't overcome, it frustrates us. If there's something that you can't overcome, if it is something big or small, it doesn't matter. It frustrates you. We were not made not to overcome, because we were made God's image. Can you imagine God losing it, in any battle? Can you imagine God being defeated by anything? Can you imagine God being subdued by anything? No, not my God. He wins every battle. And everything that he puts his mind on, he does. And he does it well. And that's why you are not happy when you don't overcome something. Because you were made like him. You have this in you. Understand? You have this fire in you. And with this fire, you have this power to make a decision that I am gonna change regardless of how hard it is. I don't care how long it's gonna take. I'm gonna take the steps. And we all know changes doesn't happen overnight. But if you persist, if you first of all make the decision and you stick to it, you sacrifice, I'm sure that every day is gonna be exciting to you. Every new changes is going to be, it's gonna bring you excitement, it's gonna bring you joy. Yes, it's gonna, require sacrifice. But the result of overcoming is so sweet. It's so sweet that once you taste it, you never want to look back. See, and this is, as I said, an ongoing thing. As I'm talking to you right now, there are things that I'm working on in myself. There are things that I am striving to change about myself. And I'm sure the next week there'll be other things. The next year there'll be other things. And I'm excited about it. It's not a shame for me. I don't feel down. I don't feel less of a person when I see things that I need to change. On the contrary, it's exciting to me because I understand and I've tasted it that once we change, we grow, we mature, we become better. We become a better daughter of God. We become a better servant. We become a better person in general. So, why don't you make that same decision to do something about it? To do something about the thing that is being there on your mind, bugging you, bothering you. And even though you put on this facade that I don't really care, I couldn't care less, you either love me or hate me, just take it off. Just wash it away. Face the truth. You're not happy. However, if you make the decision to put on the effort, I'm sure that you will never want to stop investing in yourself. Just before we finish here, there is a verse that came to my mind ever since I started thinking about this topic of today. It is the verse, let me read here for you. Hold on. It is in John chapter 12, verse 24. It says like this. The Lord Jesus said this. He said, "Most assuredly I say to you, unless a grain of wheat falls into the ground and dies, it remains alone. But if it dies, it produces much grain." So, I'm pretty sure you understand he's not talking about physical death here. But let's put to death our pride. Let's put to death everything that goes against our happiness. Enough, the end of the year is coming. Enough of holding on to things that doesn't benefit us. Let's put them to death. Let's allow this grain of wheat to flourish. All right? I invite you to do that. We still have a couple of days before the end of the year. Why not invest in the most, some people, they invest in their career, they invest in their study. However, they don't invest in themselves. There's nothing more precious than you. Yes, your career is important. Everything else is important, but there's nothing and no one more important than you. Invest in yourself. You still have a couple of remaining days before the end of the year, and I challenge you, do something about it, and you will see that you will never want to stop ever again. All right? Sorry, that was all the time we had for today. I wish we could go on and on and on, but I believe you got the message, and I'm sure that we will have great testimonies even before the end of the year. Stay in the faith. God bless you. Bye-bye.